After that Corona period, we were finally able to make plans for a new trip. And this time we hooked up with Henny Owe and Christian Maillet, and we wanted to go to the Fly River area, high on my wish list because of the presence of a lot of blue eyes over there. And we had some trouble on the way, but that's what it is. And our second goal was to go to Lake Mbuta to find the Palangia mbutuensis. So to look how this works here. So to go to those remote areas, you have to fly a lot. By plane to Tanamara, get a car, do your thing, get back to Jajapura, fly to Sorong, because there is no direct flight from Jajapura to Kaimana. Fly to Kaimana, take a boat trip, then a car to the lake and reverse. And in the end, fly out to Jakarta, take you Europe again. Entering the airport of Jakarta, we had to exchange some money for some local currency, and we wanted to have a prepaid telephone card. A lot of things have changed over there since the Corona period. You have to register your phone, and they take a copy of your passport and all kinds of stuff, so the government can follow you everywhere you go. That's their goal. And we had to pick up our tickets at Batik Air office, and yeah, Johannes and Christoph were very tired, and they took a little nap on a very uncomfortable way, in my opinion, but they did a little sleep over there. So getting in the plane to Jajapura, getting there, Henny was already waiting for us, and we had a few days in Jajapura to do some finalize our plans to go to the Ropka area, get the necessary permits. Oops, where it is. Get the necessary permits to travel in that part of Papua, and of course do some sightseeing along Lake Sentani. This is the team: Johannes on the right, Christoph, Henny, and myself. The flags on the stairways to the viewpoint were because of the Independence Day on the 17th of August. And that is a very important date in our trip. Overview over Lake Sentani. A beautiful lake, still beautiful to see. There are several viewpoints around the lake. But if you have an aerial shot of that lake, it shows how impressive that lake is. A very big lake, and it's always a beautiful sight to see that one. We also visited Car Wash Creek. Gary, you remember it? It's totally ruined now. Car Wash Creek is a fast-flowing creek coming out of the hills and flows into Lake Sentani. The last place where Sentaniensis, Gilatrina sentaniensis was found, but the people are doing gold mining up in the hills, and they use quicksilver to get the gold out, and they throw the wastewater in the creek, so the creek is totally polluted with quicksilver, and flows. That same pollution. It's not responding. The same pollution is flowing into the lake. You can see that over there. So after a while, a few years, that whole area will be polluted with quicksilver. We didn't find any living creature in that water, so we can assume that Gilatrina sentaniensis is totally out of that creek and out of that area. Although Kader Roesman said they are still in the lake. Henny couldn't confirm that, so I don't know. We never found gelatin. Gary never found gelatin in the lake, eh? No. Back in town, there were a few pre-parades from school children due to the Independence Day, and they had a lot of fun, and they were walking along the road, a bunch of them. But our goal was to go to Waropko. And you have to fly to Tanimera to get there, and then get a car and drive to the town of Waropko. Arriving at that airport, the border control, immigration, military, police, I don't know what was already there, were awaiting us, and they checked everything. Everything we've got. The only thing they didn't do was a body check. So after about 2 hours, we were cleared, and we could go to the car and try to get to Waropko. The driver was already waiting for a few hours, and they were very handy in storing luggage at the back of such a truck. And we only had to do some serious shopping, get some water, get supplies for the next coming 5-6 days. It's not possible to buy that in those little villages, so you have to take it along. Finally, it was ready, and we were on our way to Waropko. Arriving in Waropko, we reported at the local police station. Henny had arranged that we could spend the night over there, so that was supposed to be pretty safe. But the police officer told us, well, you have to go to immigration and you have to go to the military to explain your plans and ask permission from them to go there. So we went to immigration, and they made a little bit of fuss. We were traveling on a tourist visum, and we're not allowed to fish or do something else than being a tourist. So we told them, well, we are going to swim in a few rivers and probably take a little bag with us. And so after a while we said, okay, you can go. And we had to report at the military camp. You see those little huts over there. We were supposed to stay over there. The military forced us to go in that accommodation. Wasn't that bad, but he had a few other restrictions. Independence Day, the 17th, we were there on the 15th. We weren't allowed to leave the premises, to leave the camp. There were a lot of festivities and a lot of hotshots from the military, and some from the government were coming over to Waropko. I don't know why, it's in the middle of nowhere. But we were not allowed to leave camp. And further on he told us, well, your plans to go to fish over there, that's okay. So next morning, we went by car on that yellow stripe, the road to Oxybiel, and we were planning to drive as far as we could, then turn the car around back to Waropka and fish every stream and waterway we could find. That was the plan. And then the 17th we had to stay in camp. And the third day we had planned to go to the Oka Barim area. That's the Mecca for the blue eyes. So I was very keen on that one. And the next day we were planning to go to the Oktedi area. Driving along the road, we came at Kalinium, and we were in the middle of the bridge, and suddenly the guy who was with us from the military said, "Stop, this is how far you go. There are what he called bush people along the road, so it's not safe anymore, and well, we can't go further than Kalinium. Well, it is what it is. Come on. This is Kalinium, a fast-flowing river with some shallow places, some deeper places, some rapids. It's all there, but it made it a little bit challenged to fish over there because of the current. An overview. It doesn't run. That's nice. Okay, I'm sorry, it doesn't run. So we started fishing in the shallow parts of the river. We couldn't find anything over there. So we moved on. I hope this video will run. We moved on to, it doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Shit, I don't know why. Yeah, well, that's a pity. We entered this place. It was quite deep, about 1.5 meters. And it was a little challenging to get the seine in the right position to catch some fish because of those tree stumps and tree logs that were in the water. But in the end, we managed to find some fish. And we found Cartocephalus rendi, very similar to the one in Australia, the Stercus muscatum. And we found some Rubus striata of the Kalinium. We also found one little Melanotania, but it was without color, and we put that back without taking a photograph. That's always when you come home and say, oh, we forgot to take a picture of that one. Back in Europe, a young male of the Kalinium, still developing. The fins could be a little bit longer, but the color is popping up. So it's a very promising fish for the hobby. We moved on to Kalilutit, and along the road we fished some little streams, some ditches, very tiny swamp area, but we couldn't find anything in there. So eventually we got to the Kalilutit. The Kalilutit is a smaller river, gently stream, flows out into the Kali Comer, and the Kali Comer flows out in Kali Kauth, I think you pronounce that. And that's the main river in the area of Digul. We got some pretty Goldii types. Pretty. But in the aquarium, it looks like this. So that's also a very promising fish to get in the hobby. Especially when there's a little bit of sunlight on that fish, it's very, very beautiful. And we found some Cartocephalus rendi over there too. So we moved on to Calicom. Here the, as Hammer would say, the mafia of the rainbow fish. At the Calicom, a really very beautiful river, carved stone bed, sandy places, rocks, some rapids, a really beautiful place to be. To get down to the edge of the river, we had to climb down the embankment of that bridge, what was very steep, loaded with boulders and concrete, so that was very slippery. And I said to Johan as well, we have to go back again, but we still don't know why. So this one is also not running. I'm sorry, the video.
B. There it is. It's just left by.
Now somehow it doesn't work. I'm sorry about that. But the access, when we were down, the access to that river was very good. Was easily you could easily get there. And a few shots on that beautiful piece of river. And if you look at the opposite direction, it looks like this, and you can see on the erosion on the riverbank that must be a roaring river in the wet. Luckily, we were there in the dry, and the water level was about 1.20 meters, and it was really easy to fish over there. Christoph was driving the fish into the Seine, and we found again Cratocephalus. We found Melanotaenia goldii type, and we found Melanotaenia rubestriata over there. We also found a mouth almighty and a flounder. Did we find that one, Johannes? Flounder? Yeah, it was over there, eh? Yeah. I need a hammer. Johannes was walking around that embankment and found a little stairway back to the road, and this is also not running, so I'm very sorry. But you can see how steep that is, and those boulders and concrete, so it's probably not done to climb up there. Calico meh, the rubestriata, other color form, still a young male. Have to grow a little bit more and have to get some more color, but you can see it's very promising fish to get into the hobby. And of course the goldii type, very similar to the one in the Kalilutit, which is natural because those rivers are connected. And DNA will tell if it is the same fish or something else. I guess it's the same one. On our way back, when we got back to the car at the Kali we just saw, that commander of the military told us, well, you're done fishing. We had three Kalis, and he said, you're done fishing. And he was probably bored or something like that, but we had to go back to Weropko as soon as possible, he said. And we had to go to immigration to tell them that we had fishes, and they would probably confiscate our fishes. And he suggested to put them back in the river. So we did a little talking together, and we said, well, we're not going to do that. We take our chance and go to immigration and see what happens. So on our way back to Weropko, we came at this border control point ruled by special forces of the Indonesian military. And when we got in, we crossed that point too, and the special soldiers were waving at us, and there was no problem at all. But when we came back, they were awaiting us with the machine guns. We had to stop. We had to go out of the car, and we were held at a gunpoint on the side of the road, and they checked every box, everything in the car. And there was one of those guys who was taking a video of that action. So that was pretty scary. And when they were ready with their check, the camera was out and the problem was over. They had to make a video for some commander in the army to let them see how they were anticipating on traffic was on that road. We were the lucky ones. So at that time, that other commander, our friend on the road, he told us, well, you have to go back to Woropka, but you can't go in daytime, so you have to wait until dawn. So the commander of the special forces, he said, well, come in the camp and get a tea and a coffee and something like that. And we stayed for about 1.5 hours, 2 hours over there until dawn was coming up. And this is the shield of that special force unit. They stay there half a year. They came from Java, did they come, those guys? And they stay there for half a year, and then they are they will go home, and there will be another troop over there. So we had to wait there. It was nice. People were very friendly, and we went back to Woropka. Got to immigration, and immigration made a lot of fuss. And to make a long story short, it was all about money, and we could take the fish. So we had to leave camp early that morning because of there were a few riots in the area of Woropka. Some local people were killed by an army truck, and they were making big trouble, fires and all that kind of stuff. So the camp commander told us, get out as early in the morning and go back to Tanimera. So Johannes was a little bit disappointed. You can see his body language over there. And the car was already packed, so at first light we hit the road and went back to Tanimera. So in the end, we only had checked 3 of our points, and the most important 2 places we wanted to visit were not done. Yeah, that's terrible. We got back in Tanimera, and we found a little hotel where we could stay the night and arrange some tickets to go back to Jajapura. And those people were very creative. Look what they've done with old tires. They make furniture of it. It was a very nice place to be, very clean, and very, very nice people too. So we flew back to Jajapura, and we went to Henny's house. We had to store our fishes, and we had talked with Henny about that before we left Europe. And Johannes bought some of those inflatable kiddie swimming pools, and we put the fish in there. We were setting it up, messing up Henny's living room, but it worked pretty well. Yeah, still the videos doesn't run. I'm very sorry about that. So we stored the fish in those little swimming pools, get a klambu over it to prevent them from jumping out, and they were left alone for 1.5 weeks because we were traveling to another place. Because of the trouble we had with immigration in the Woropka area, and he told us, well, we need a letter from the Jajapura University where we declare you research assistants on a fishing trip. So we went the other day. We went to the university. Henny has a high position over there, and she got us a letter. It was already done, and that was very, very easy because she was the head of the department over there, and she could sign her own letter. So that that wasn't that difficult. So we moved on to Kamana, where we met Ayub. Ayub is a friend of Henny and a friend of Martin. We met him in 2019 when we were on the hunt of the Marazi and the Kalitawa, and he works at the Department of Fishery in Kamana. A very nice guy, and he helped us out with a few things. Being in another district, you have to go back to the police station and get another travel permit for that specific area. That takes about two and a half hours, and you have to sit that out. And after that, we met this one of the first high-placed police women in the Kamana area, and she was anxious to get a photo of those crazy white people. In the meanwhile, Ayub had arranged a boat for us to go to the Avona area. What is important, there were life jackets in that boat, and that was one of the things some of us wanted to do, wanted to have. And it's a pretty long way with a rough sea to get to Avona. So you can see the zippers were all gone, so it has no use to wear a life jacket. It's more for being protected against the splashing water. And we took that ride to Avona. That's this one was an easy ride. Also a video that's not running. We left Kaimana early in the morning, 6 o'clock, and we had to go about 110 k's over the sea to Avona. Waves probably around 3 till 4 feet high, so that was pretty easy to go over there, and we had no problem at all. Getting in Avona, getting the stuff out. What can I tell you about Avona? It's a shitty place over there. It really is. It's very polluted. They do shipwrecking on that side of the harbor. So there's all kinds of rubbish and oil and gasoline and whatever. But even the whole place over there, including the village, was very, very bad. I really don't understand that people can survive over there in that kind of rubbish. But anyway, this is one of the places where people live. And we had to go through that area to go to the people who were the owners of Lake Mbuta. But you can see the state of maintenance of those buildings is quite well. So bad living conditions over there, but although people have a lot of money because of the hey, that's working. Because of the lumber logging by the Chinese companies, they all have some money, but somehow they don't seem to care how they live. So we found the family who are the traditional owners of Lake Mbuta. And Henny had to do a hard negotiation with them to get permission. First we got permission to go over there, take some pictures and then go back. We said, well, that's no use for us. We want to fish, we want to see what's in it. So Henny had to start over again, and after about 3.5, 4 hours, we finally had permission from them to go to the lake and do some fishing. In the meanwhile, Henny's telephone rang, and she had a WhatsApp call from another family. That's how it goes in the modern world. WhatsApp is everywhere. And they were the traditional owners of the land around the lake. So they said, we want money for you to cross our land. They asked for 5 million. That's about 480 Australian dollars. We said, well, we're not going to do that. That's way too much. So Henny had to negotiate again, all on WhatsApp. That makes it easy. We didn't even see that people over there. And in the end, we were negotiating for about 1.5, 2 hours, and there was no progress in the negotiation. So we talked and we said, well, maybe we should go back to the boat and get back to Kamana. And Henny said, well, we give it a last try, take it or leave it. And she offered 1 or 1.5? 1.5 million to the people, which they accepted. So finally we could go to the lake after about 6-7 hours of negotiation. That's what it takes in those places. We wanted to go to Camp 15 at the lake, then drive on to Camp 23. That's where the type locality of the Palangia is found. And then drive on to Camp 37. There should be blue eyes over there. There should be Melanotania over there. Yeah, we got a lift from a dump truck to go to the camp, and the car that's coming in, yeah, also a video that doesn't run, is a big logging lorry with big logs on it, and people don't want you to see that. There's a lot of mystery going on over there, and the army is in it until their neck, so a little bit of corruption over there, all in the game. And we came in Camp 15, in this beautiful hut at the Kali. You have to look at my notes. Kali Murokai was behind that shed. No facilities over there. And when we entered that hut, the fleas were jumping knee high. So we decided to go and sleep outside on the porch, which we did. And that was very nice, because it was, for those people it was cold, and for us it was really warm. So no problem sleeping outside. And this was the bathing place of that little Kali. Very fast flowing. Their crocs invaded, and we had to take care that log is placed there to avoid crocodiles to come into the washing place. And Johannes and Christoph, they took a little walk along the shore of that little Kali, and they found this Hygrophila species. Very nice one, brown, white nerve in the leaves, and we took that one home, and it's now flourishing in a lot of aquariums back in Europe. Very nice, nice one. So Lake Mbuta, yeah, I'm sorry, it's a video again. So we took a hike to the lake, and that hike. Fix it. That hike took us about 2 hours to cover 4 Ks. A lot of mud, a lot of slippery stuff, leeches, stinging plants. It was all there. Typical rainforest. That's good, Steve. So finally we arrived at Lake Mbuta. Very low water table over there when we got there. Invested with really big crocs over there. So it's a little bit tricky, a little bit scary.
Use the space bar.
Sorry?
Use the space bar, it just changes each one.
Space bar?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, very good. But before we could enter that lake and do some water samples and try to collect, we had to do some offering to the gods of Lake Mbuta. Well, it's their tradition, so you have to do that. And we found a spot where it was a little bit shallow, and we went in to get some fish. It was also a video, so the trick was there was one guy on the other side of that water place, and he was assigned to be the lookout for crocodiles, and but he didn't look at the lake. He was looking at us. What are you doing? So that was funny. And finally, we found a lot of Cratocephalus, a yellow. It really doesn't want to go. Yeah. We found some yellow Cratocephalus, yellow golden one. Huge amount of them in the lake and around the lake, and we bagged some and went on with our walk along the lake. So when we walked around the lake, we found a crocodile skull, and the local people immediately got out the machetes and they knocked the teeth out to do some trading or making jewelry or something like that. And Christoph tried to get one, but no way. They were protecting those things. Along the way, we fished some puddle pools to look for another species of fish, and we only found Cratocephalus and Magrunda embuta. This one is about 7-8 centimeters, I guess, showing its colors. The local people told us they will get a little bit bigger, about 12 till 13 centimeters. And I've got a few of them too in my aquarium. I was so stupid to put them with a few Melanotania in it, and they kill them all. And they even kill their own species. They're very aggressive at my place. And Johannes doesn't have any problems with them. So it's, yeah, I don't know why, but they are very aggressive in my tanks. And this is a picture of that golden yellow Cratocephalus, a very, very nice fish. Showing this color, I have them in my community tank, and they're showing these colors almost all day. It's a really beautiful, beautiful fish. Yeah, I know. So at the end of the day, we did a tour of about 10 k's around the lake. We found some interesting stuff, but not where we came for. We wanted to find Palangia, and we wanted to find Melanotania lacunosa. So we decided to go the same route again the next day and try to fish all kind of little streams and puddle pools and creeks we could find to get access to the Palangia. The other creek we only found Cratocephalus. There were millions of them in that lake, in that area, and we went on to this creek. This creek was quite near the lake, so it was a little bit deeper. So before we went in, the local people got their spears and poked around in that creek to see if there were crocodiles. Luckily they weren't, so we got in, and the local people over there were driving and splashing the fish into the Seine, and eventually we were very lucky to get Palangia. This should be a video too. It's the first footage of a live Palangia embutuensis. You can see the blue in the scales. A little bit of color in the fins. but well, we took it right out of the net into a photo bucket, so it's not on his best. We took this species home. We lost a few in the boat trip back to Kamana, and unfortunately we lost all the females. So we only ended up with a few males. But giving them a little bit of time and adjustment to our aquarium, they showed this beautiful colors, blue, greenish, especially in the fins, and yeah, a very nice one. And if you give it a little bit of sunlight, it looks like this. It's really a very remarkable fish. Should be closely related to Glossolepis. Glossolepis, you pronounce that. And yeah, unfortunately, some of us has to go back to find some females, but I don't know who is going to do that. But still no Lacunosa. So we moved on along the lake, a little bit further away from the lake, and found a few ditches. And in this one, we found, yes, it's working, Melanotania lacunosa, goldie-eye type, a very nice fish, about 10 centimeters it gets when it's full grown. And we took that one home too, and it looks like this. A very beautiful fish, which we could bring home, and fortunately we had one female and a few males, and Johannes was the lucky one who had a female, so we immediately start breeding them, and now we have enough offspring to secure this one in the hobby. A very nice one. The third day we were in Camp 15, we were awaiting the same truck to bring us to Camp 27. But instead of this truck, an army truck came along. It's everywhere the same story. And they told us, get out, you can't fish anymore. The Papuan freedom fighters are in the area and they know you're here, so it's too dangerous, and all kinds of arguments. And they told us, you have to go next morning. We will send a truck, and you have to stay in that hut with those fleas, and overnight, and the local people will protect you. So yeah, that's what happened. We got into that in the hut and spent the night over there. And I'm one of the lucky guys who isn't infected by muzzies and fleas, but Johannes and Christoph, they were almost eaten by them. But you have to keep in mind, those local people, they were armed with 2 machetes, 1 spear and 1 bow and arrow with 4 arrows. And the freedom fighters, they carry AK-47, so in my opinion it was a lot of bullock. They didn't want us to go to the area of 27 where a lot of logging was going on, and they just pushed us out. But what can you do? You have to follow their orders. So 1 check and that's it, unfortunately. So we got back to Kamana, got immediately in the boat and sailed to Kamana. This one was a little bit bumpier. It was when we left, it was about 10 o'clock, 10:30. So the wind. So you're lucky there are no videos in it. So the waves were a little bit higher, 4 till 7 feet high. So it was a bumpy ride. I have to say I really loved that one. But it took us a little bit longer to go back to Kamana without any problem. The captain over there with his mate, and he wanted a little picture of us too. We had a little chat with him. He said, well, if you were back from that camp 1 hour later, we wouldn't have been able to get the boat and leave Avona. So we were very lucky because I didn't want to stay in that place. Back in Kamana, we had a few days more than we anticipated. So we took a little chat with Ayoub. And Ayoub had done a trip with Kader Roesman along the Aguni Bay. And we were discussing that, well, that would be nice. There are 2 varieties of fish who are described but never been in the hobby. So let's do that. And Ayoub told us, let's go first to the Kali Batu Puti. We can do that in the afternoon. It's still early, and fish over there. We did, but we didn't find anything. And the local people said, well, there are rainbow fish in this stream. So we went back at night with a torch, and within an hour we found this undescribed Melanotaenia. All the adult ones died, but Johannes has some offspring of them. So we will see how this one develops. We haven't seen any color on it yet. So the other day we get in the car and we drove to a little township called Sasnamora, where is a Kali that's also called Sasnamora, and went to the type locality of Melanotaenia vanoma. This beautiful stream in a limestone area, sandy bottom, some leaves on the bottom, a little rocks on the bottom, and we start fishing that, and almost immediately we found vanoma. Not much color on it, but we took it home. It's a new one, it's never been in the hobby, so we took that one home. And when you keep it in the aquarium and give it some attention, it looks like this. It's a very nice fish, and even more, I have to hurry up, even more, if it's on fire, it looks like this. And I'm especially fond of that red line in the second dorsal and in the caudal fin. Very, very special. I've never seen that in other species before. And this is definitely one of those fish who will make it in the hobby. Kaligabiazi. Kaligabiazi is the home of Melanotaenia violiae, also found in 2010 and described in 2012 by Kader Roesman. And it's a fast-flowing stream, about 200-300 meters above the ground, and after that it disappears in the karst and reappears somewhere along the Aguni Bay in the mangrove area. Very nice piece of water, crystal clear water. You can see that, you hardly can see that there is water. And we started fishing over there. People were, the fish were used to people over there. Maybe people go swimming over there or bathing or something like that. So within a few minutes we found we could catch the alpha male of that area, and that's the Melanotaenia violiae. A big one, it was about, what was it, 12, 13 centimeters? 14. Yeah, 14. Okay, it was a very big fish, and showing a lot of color in the photo tank, and yeah, it makes no sense to take that one home because it will die. So we let it go, and we took a lot of youngsters with us, young fish, and try to raise them up in the aquarium. And this is a young male, about 6-7 centimeters. so it has to grow a little bit and starting to show some color. So it's a promising fish. The picture is taken about, I guess, 3 months ago, and this one is taken 3 days ago, 3 or 4 days ago, whatever. And you can see the development of the colors, and yeah, we're still waiting for the fish to grow and show all the colors. It's a bit of a crappy photo because it's taken with a handy, with a cell phone, sorry. And on our way back, on our way into Sasnamora, we crossed this little creek, no name, and it looks like a typical blue eye habitat to me. So on the way back, we immediately jumped in and started fishing, and yeah, it's also a video, so I skipped that one. It saves you some time. And we found a very beautiful hammer. A very beautiful blue eye. One in the Paladicola group. A very colorful one. We found some in Bentuni area, we found some in the Sorong area, and we found some in the Timika area, but this one is the most colorful one we found until now. And yeah, I'm still hoping we can get that, can preserve that in the hobby. It's a very beautiful, beautiful one. Yeah, finally a blue eye. So all goals checked, and we had to go back. We had to go back to Sorong, and in Sorong there is a little stream that's called Kali Klademak. That's in the hometown of Martin, and we went there in 2019. Found a very nice Fredericai over there, but unfortunately they died in transport. So now we had the opportunity to go back. We only had a few hours to go there, and we contacted Martin, and he arranged for us to visit the village. Oh, sorry, I have to go back. Ta-da! To visit the village of Orot, where Martin grew up, and the same guys who were helping us in 2019 were awaiting us at the creek and did some fishing for us. This is the little Kali Klademak in 2019. Are you prepared, Martin? Yeah. Yeah? Same area, same viewpoint in 23. Totally destructed piece of creek. People are mining there with a big excavator, sand and gravel for the building industries in the city of Sorong. And yeah, I quite understand that people have to make a living too. But yeah, it's very sad to see such a beautiful creek completely ruined. One advantage over there, when we were there in 2019, Gary, it was full of guppies. You remember that one? They were all gone now. So that was a good sign. But there was still a little piece of that Kali, about 100, 120 meters was intact. And those guys who helped us in 2019, they did grow a little bit. And they knew exactly where to go and fish for the Fredericai. So after only 5 or 6 minutes, they found the first adult male of this Fredericai. Looks pretty good. But if you keep it in an aquarium and you give it a little bit of sunlight, it looks like this. This is a Fredericai. We saw a lot of Fredericais in the Sorong area Most of them are brownish, dull fish, but this is really, really a very beautiful, beautiful fish. And this was the last catch of our eventful trip to West Papua with a few ups and downs. And I thank you for your attention.